You're here coaching at Cleveland Heights, but it's a long way from where you started. You're also a senior VP at Morgan Stanley on Wall Street. Kind of an odd combination. And you were successful there too, so how did you say, you know what, now I want to coach high school football?
You know, when I finished college and I finished my master's at Case, I had a goal. And that goal was I'd work as hard as I physically possibly could when I got out. And my goal was by the time I was 30, I'd be able to have the power of choice to kind of do what I wanted to do. For me, you know, football's been a huge part of my life. Coach Perella was an enormous mentor to me and as a coach, and I felt if I could give back and impact kids the way he impacted me, that would be a pretty fun way to live the rest of my life. And so here we are.
You started with St. Peter Chanel, then Maple Heights, now Cleveland Heights here. You have a reputation of turning programs around. What's your secret? What do you do differently?
I think the difference is this. At each place we've coached, it's been somewhat of an underserved area. And in many cases, there's not a lot of male role models. As soon as these kids finally started to trust that if it's midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning and they got a real problem, they have somewhere to go to, and that they know that someone's going to respond, I think that trust has gone a long way. You win with good kids. You know, if you have great players but they're not good kids, you're not going to win a lot of football games. It's taken us a little while. 2 years ago, we should have been in the playoffs. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because of some of the stuff that went on. But we're here now, and I just think I think it's because we've developed some really, really good kids.
You mentioned there that you should have been in the playoffs in 2009. Kind of a clerical error. Stopped Cleveland Heights from their first playoff berth ever. What did that do to you and your team emotionally, just knowing that you worked so hard to get there, and because of a little mishap?
Very, very hard. I can tell you this. When it happened, it was maybe the greatest thing that could have ever happened to our team, because they refused to lose after that. We went on a 6-game run. We lost in the last game of the year. But it brought them, it was a cause. It was something that they could all sink their teeth into. And it was almost their badge of courage, if that makes any sense. And, you know, it was hard. You know, you want to make it. Everyone's excited. I mean, this town is going nuts right now, which is such a blessing.
Let's rewind a little bit. When you first take over Cleveland Heights here, this is a school that's traditionally a basketball school.
Yes, sir.
Everyone knows it as basketball. What were the obstacles on kind of getting rid of that and making it a football school as well?
Well, you know, it's funny. Chanel was a basketball wrestling school. They'd won 12 games in 9 years. We were fortunate to develop and celebrate the success of the other sports. And heck, if my best receivers, Bam Childress and Steve Cargill, the guys that are hanging on my wall there, if they're pretty good basketball players, they're going to be pretty good football players. And my tough kids were going to be my wrestlers, Mark Zaranek, the Huggaboom brothers. I mean, these guys are great. They were tough wrestlers. They're going to be pretty good linemen and linebackers. So it worked out great at Maple. Here, it took a little while, but, you know, I'm proud that I think we're becoming a football school right now. But I don't want it to be at the expense of any others. But I want Cleveland Heights to be the most powerful AAA school, the strongest athletics, the strongest academics, and the strongest in the arts. If you're strong in academics, athletics, and arts, you got a school. That's what we got right now. That's what we have right now.
So now this year, you've become the first team to make a playoff. What's the gratification like? How's the team and your mindset now that you've accomplished that goal?
You know, I'm incredibly proud, but I'm happier for the kids. You know, I've been to the dance, I've been there, and I want to get back as badly as anybody else. But our kids so rarely are put on a pedestal. Let's face it, everybody knows what the stereotype is of a lot of kids from a city, quasi-city school. Our kids aren't that. We know who we are. We are in an area where there's a lot of single moms and families are challenged, but you know what? We're better and we're stronger for it. So, you know, it's just exciting. The kids are juiced right now. I don't know any way to say it. They are very excited for this opportunity.
Well, we talked about all the odds you've had to overcome to get there. And now, as if that wasn't enough, your first game you draw last year's state championship in St. Edwards. How do you take the youth and inexperience of your team that's never been there and match up against a team that just won it recently as last year?
You know, they're a great team. They're big and they're strong and they're terrific. But I'll tell you what, there is something special going on right now at Cleveland Heights High School. I'll take my kids very humbly and line up anywhere, anytime. I'll line up on the moon if you have to. And I told them, I said, at the end of this, whenever this show's over, you will remember this year, the year that you together made history at Cleveland Heights High School and went to the playoffs and, God willing, beyond. You will remember this for the rest of your life, so don't take any of it for granted.